Shalom, call Lawyer Habashim Yahushua, U.S. to withdraw from Afghanistan after 2 decades of war, leaving behind tortured wasteland and having accomplished nothing. In all caps. It says the U.S. decision to leave Afghanistan without any conditions represents political victory for those in the U.S. government who saw an end to the nearly 2-decade conflict in that nation. Says President Joe Biden in a departure from a policy embraced by 4 successive U.S. presidential administrations, which placed stringent conditions on determining the conditions under which the U.S. might have Afghanistan, has announced that he is ordering all U.S. military forces out of Afghanistan by September 11, 2021, the 20th anniversary of 9/11 terrorist attacks, which propelled the U.S.-Afghan intervention to begin with. The decision, which is not linked to any preconditions of other policy contingencies, means the U.S. will finally extricate itself from the 2-decade-long nightmare in Afghanistan that became known as the Forever War. But they're not taking them troops out of Afghanistan, man. They always gonna have some people over there, and it's not a secret anymore. Like 9/11, that that was an inside job of the U.S. anyway. It says by rejecting the established model of a conditions-based approach when it came to withdrawing U.S. forces from Afghanistan, President Biden liberated himself from the reality that the situation in Afghanistan would never stabilize to the point that risk-averse generals who populate the U.S. military and for whom the war in Afghanistan has been an integral part of their respective careers would feel comfortable leaving in making this decision. Biden mirrored the conclusion reached by his predecessor, Donald Trump, that left to their own devices, the U.S. military would never depart from Afghanistan. Exactly. They're never leaving there, man. They never keep it home. They always in someone else's business, They got like more than a dozen military bases all around the world, man. And then war makes money, so, it's always going to be somebody over there. It says, in short, the 20-year conflict in Afghanistan accomplished nothing other than killing more than 2,000 Americans, wasting trillions of dollars of American treasure, and they laid themselves in thick clay, man. Wasting money. It says treasure and slaughtering hundreds of thousands of Afghans while leaving their country little more than a tortured wasteland. I mean, because that's all he knows is destruction. That's why he's the wicked, so-called white man. Let's just grab some precepts. This is Habakkuk chapter 2. It reads, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and will watch to see what he will say unto me, and what shall I answer when I am reproved. That's the man of the Lord, keeping watch. It says, and the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, answered me and said, write the vision, the prophecies, and make it plain upon tables. Make it, simple in a sense. Enough, for, simple enough for those in the specific time periods to understand. And, to understand, it says, make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. And when you readeth, that word goes back to understanding, so the person that is reading it, they can understand it, and they can, go and teach others. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time. Again, the prophecies are, they have a specific time that they're supposed to happen. It says, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry, because it's going to happen right on time. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. Esau Edom. But the just shall live by his faith. And faith goes back to belief, so belief on what? Belief on these scriptures. That's what we're supposed to live by, You know, you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, confusion of faith, supposed to live by our faith, because that's ultimately what's going to save us out of this situation. It says, yeah, also because he transgressed by wine philosophies, which he doesn't really have any type of philosophies. His philosophy is confusion, you know. It says, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, you know. And as we can see, he's in everybody else's affairs, really doing nothing, you know. As we saw in that article, it says, who enlargeth his desire as hell. And that's what he does, man. Like, they didn't really have a reason to go over to Afghanistan. They just went over there because it's probably some oil or some type of resources in the earth that they wanted. So they made a reason in, them attacks on 9/11 to go over there, you know. It says, and is as death. It cannot be satisfied. It can't be satisfied, man. It says, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. And America's a melting pot. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, you know, because, you know, they tired of this shit, man. You know, Babylon, which is America, has, you know, the nations drunk off the wine of the wrath for fornication, roughly paraphrasing. It says, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? Because he takes everything. It says, and to him that ladeth himself in with thick clay. Going back to, that was a good example in that article. It said they wasted like trillions of dollars doing nothing. It says, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them, because thou hast spoiled many nations. All the remnant of the people shall spoil thee because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. Woe to him that coveteth. Shlaki. Woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. They, you know, they got their little space, they moon stations and shit, and you know, they even got bunkers in the water and mountains and stuff like that. It says, thou hast consulted shame to thy house by cutting off many people, and hast sinned against thy soul. For the stone shall cry out of the wall, and the beam out of the timber shall answer it. It says, woe to them that buildeth a town with blood, and establisheth a city by iniquity. And that is essentially the history of the white man. It says, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood, man. You know, they stole land from the so-called natives. This place was built, you know, off the backs of, you know, so-called Negroes. It says, behold, is it not of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahshua of hosts, that the people shall labor in the very fire, and the people shall weary themselves for very vanity? For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahshua, as the waters cover the sea. And the Lord's going to make his name known in this earth, man. It says, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and makest him drunk also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. And that's, again, Esau eating the so-called white man. He feeds different philosophies to our people. And, you know, we were given these laws, statutes, and commandments to abide by, but by our people transgressing, it puts them in a worse state, you know. So it makes them naked, you know, it makes them unclean. It says, thou art filled with the shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shame for spewing shall be on thy glory. And you know, when you're naked, go back to verse 15, when you're naked, unclean, you know you're going to be judged for that. if the Lord doesn't have mercy on you. It says, for the violence of Lebanon shall cover thee, and the spoil of beasts which made them afraid because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. What profiteth the graven image that the maker thereof hath graven it, the molten image and the teacher of lies, that the maker of his work trusted therein to make dumb idols. And some of them idols are, the Maxines, the MC, money, this is fiat currency. It says, woe unto him that saith to the wood, awake, to the dumb stone, arise, it shall teach. And that's, these idols, JC, Buddha, that stone of Islam. It says, behold, it is laid over with gold and silver, and there's no breath at all in the midst of it. But the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua is in his holy temple. Let all the earth keep silence before him, because this whole earth is going to reverence the Lord. He can make his name known. And this is Obadiah chapter 1. We can start at verse 2. It says, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen. Thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So the Lord's going to greatly humble Esau Edom, so-called white man. Baratazada was edifying. Call hello, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Shalom.